Start crying.
No.
All right, this is a special one-off. I'm still Geno D. This is Pontus Snibb, and we are going to be talking about this new album called HRH Blues. Now, all I could say is this. First, for starters, right? I met you because you were touring with somebody else at the time.
Yeah.
And you played a place in Sheffield called the Greystones.
Yeah.
With Jason and the Scorchers.
Yeah.
Now, and that's how I always knew you as a drummer. It was before, you know, I knew you as a drummer, but, you know, I hadn't known anything else. And because I do my Southern rock thing and all the rest of it, and Jason was one of those bands, and then, you know, Warner, and, you know, and I was like, oh, great, cool. I haven't seen Jason in 10 years. We'll go down and see what the new band's like. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
Great to hear.
So that's how I first got introduced to you as a drummer.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about your vocal range. Didn't know anything about Bonafide. Didn't know anything about, you know, your history or anything else. I just so then you played here 2 years ago, and I caught the tail end of the set. Didn't catch it. So they said, okay, if you recognize the face, it's probably because of that band.
No, it's not.
I was going to say
Nashville band.
So I was like, is that the same guy? Okay. Oh yeah, I remember. I caught the last 10 minutes of that. And then we turned around and I got thrown this, and they said, give us your honest opinion. So all I can say is, for starters, you're a very talented individual.
Thank you, sir.
Because to go from drumming to the guitar, and then to do blues.
Yeah.
Me personally, is that where your passion is?
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
As you say, I started out as a drummer, like hosting blues jams in Malmo, southern part of Sweden, playing the drums and singing at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's where I started. And when I became like 17, I wanted to start playing with my dad. He's a very famous Swedish drummer. But then we can't do double drums, of course. So I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And asked him to join my band. And we've been playing ever since.
But the passion for the blues.
Yeah, it's always been that. That's my main thing from the beginning.
How did you first get introduced to it? Was it something your dad just had? Because at the time period, it was that, you know, those were the records that were coming across.
He's always been listening to the blues, and I've always been into the blues.
Yeah.
So it came natural.
Yeah, because some of the cover versions that you do on here, because there's 3 on this album, and the one that
it was hard to pick because I have like 30, 40 odd covers, famous covers that I do for blues songs.
And the one that got me was the Otis Rush. You know, because here I am thinking, okay, you know, you're talking East Chicago boogie, blues, and all the rest of it, and I'm thinking, okay, you're a right-handed guitar player, but he was, you know, so for somebody actually to take on something like that, I thought, well, there's got to be a little bit of talent there. But I think one of the things that interests me is that you have had such a large influence, but I see a lot of Texas in you.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Stevie Ray. I see a lot of Jimmy Vaughn. I see
Thunderbirds.
You know, and that's why when I heard that one on there, I was like, "Oh, that's great! Absolutely fantastic, brilliant version of it."
Thank you.
So, who is your favorite, so to speak?
Well, actually, of course, it's not actually Stevie Ray. It's probably his older brother, Jimmy Vaughn. Yeah. He's more my favorite. But
he's one of
the three kings.
Yeah.
Freddie, Albert, and Baby. Yeah. And sometimes Burger King as well.
But then
again, of course, Otis Rush and it's a lot of guys.
I was going to say, a lot of there's kind of like a buddy guy thing. That you know, I remember that one comment. You know, even Duane Allman. There's you know, I think it was Clapton that said at one time the best guitar player that I ever played with was Duane Allman, and then everybody's going, who's Duane Allman? And went, well, listen to Derek and the Dominoes, and then it's like, boom, there's some ZZ Top, there's some Billy Gibbons that goes there as well.
And with my old band, with my dad on drums, we supported ZZ Top in Sweden like 2003.
Yeah.
Got to meet the Rev, you know, had like a half an hour in his trailer, like really good time. And I've been on tour with Charlie Musselwhite, very famous.
I was going to say, you know.
And actually one of the songs on this album, I'm Walking. I did a tour with him back in maybe 2002 or something. And he really liked that song, and that was like I've written it and not recorded it.
Yeah.
So he said, "Can I have that one?" Yeah, of course you can. Do you want to record it? Yeah. So we went over and recorded in the States for his A Night in America. Yeah. And it was Grammy nominated.
I was going to say, and and the next thing you know, there you are with the Grammy, and it's like, how does a guy from Sweden all of a sudden have such a massive love for the blues? Because I saw your performance today, and we'll get to the "How You Almost Brought a Tear to My Eye" song in just a moment.
Okay.
But that was one of the things that I saw is that this is fantastic, and there's some great cover versions on it. But when you do it live, damn. The passion for what you've got for it actually comes out, which is what the blues is all about.
It's hard to record blues. It's really, we did this almost live.
Yeah.
Of course, we overdubbed the vocals were put on later because it's hard to make it happen with all the noise, and you can't get the clear vocal sound.
But there was some very traditional stuff in there as well. What I liked, as you know. And what I like is that on one side you're very educated and you're very smart and you've got this very large palette of songs to choose from, but your rock influence has a tendency to sneak in. And I look at guys like
I was going to say
well, you have guys like Gary Moore. Then when Gary Moore went back and he started in the blues and then went into rock and then came back to the blues, but he was very traditional in the way that he approached it. With the stuff that he was doing with Thin Lizzy at the time, or even on his solo rock days, he didn't bring a lot of that to the table. He tried to approach it just very straightforward. Whereas you, on the other hand, kind of mix it up. And that's what I like, because I'm hearing things and I'm going, damn, that's very rock, but that's it actually works.
I've always loved those kind of bands that not keep to like that. You know? Like, let's say the Beatles, you know, from rock to pop to psychedelic. Like, I love that thing, not to be put in a corner when it comes to musical styles.
No, well, I mean, this album is one that definitely shows that. And what we need is more of that, because you have guys like Joe Bonamassa out at the moment, and hats off to Joe. He's done a tremendous job for bringing the blues back into the mainstream.
They call him the new Clapton. I can't really agree, sorry, but he's a great guy. I supported him once in Sweden.
Yeah,
really good fellow.
Could you win a guitar war against him?
Sorry?
Could you win a guitar war against him?
Maybe not. I could sing him to death, for sure. So that's equal.
I was going to say, and you'll probably play drums better than what he does. So it's one of those type of things that, new blues. There's, I think the Gravel Tones are one who come out. I listen to things like, but even some of the bands out of America are having a tendency to go back and readdress the blues with a new sight that hasn't been there before. And it's nice to see that you, coming from Europe, have gone over to America, experienced it, come back here, and been able to bring that. So this album here, I've already given a few promo copies out. It's going to go on the radio show.
Cool.
It's called because I wish you the best of success from it. And the first time, like I said, we met, I saw you as a drummer, and all of this to me is just damn. I bet he's been doing it for a while, but that's Jason and Scorches is a completely different style. And you wouldn't have expected it. Bonafide is a different. You've got that many facets, but when you sit down and put an album like this together, I think you just go, I kind of like that bit. I'm going to do that bit with it. Yeah. So, what happens after this then?
It's released in April.
Yep.
And hopefully we're going to go on tour with him. With my dad on drums and the old bass player of Bonafide, my soulmate on the bass.
Yeah.
So we're going to...
Because that was the original recording band, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't make it here today because it's a one-off and like afternoon show.
But your standing players didn't do too bad. And if they didn't know that, I was going to say, if they didn't know they had any blues in them, it came out today.
They got it out.
Everybody's got a bit of blues in them.
And the turnout was great.
But when you did, now we're going to talk about Sunshine, Bill Withers. Because that is, I heard Zakk Wylde's version of it.
I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that. This is what I said. Is it
actually soft or is it like?
It's typical Zakk.
and it works.
And it works. But here's the thing. You know, when that song was originally written, it was written as a blues.
Yeah, of course.
But when he actually recorded it, it had that soulful thing and all the rest of it. So I hadn't really heard in probably 35 years somebody attack it with the finesse and the touch that you had. And I was standing there, and I was listening to this, and I was going, damn. That's how that song was originally envisioned, you know, and so hats off to you. That was my, you know, I was standing down in the pit and I was thinking, ooh, and I almost got a tear because it's one of my favorite, all-time favorite songs. Yeah, and I was like, God, you absolutely nailed it, and that is about passion because there, you know, as versatile as musicians are, what I have as a fan and as a DJ, I get the opportunity to sit down and talk to you, but I get to watch these performances and I get to see, you know, various aspects of it. But there are certain individuals that have raw talent, and somewhere in your family, it must be from your dad or, you know, wherever, but there is just this little bit of you that just is so pure that even your technical abilities and the way that you play, when you get out on the stage and all you did was you did the close your eyes bit, look up at the ceiling, and there it went. And you're not looking at your frets, you're not looking at everything, and yet the sweet spot on that guitar was found. It's what B.B. King would say. You know, the sweet spot on Lucille. You know, and it says, you know, and you had that. So I honestly said, and you know, I did say to Johnny earlier, I think he's better doing that than he is with Bonafide. And Johnny went, really? And I went, yeah.
It's easier for me in one way because it's more soulful. Yeah, I can like pick and choose what I want to do. Now, with Bonafide we have the rock and roll show. Yeah, and you can't bring it down that much. No, like because the fans there is a formula and it's like that. You know? Yeah, with the blues thing, I can do whatever. You know, and that's a good thing. And of course, I've been doing.
You've been doing
more than 2,000 blues shows in my life, you know.
Really?
With my dad. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never had a job. I've been a musician since I was 18. That's when I started playing with my dad, and he was, of course, well connected in the Swedish music community. So we got all the good shows, and people thought it was funny with the old famous drummer and his young son being a kind of a good singer back then and good guitarist. But so we've been doing it. So this is. Yeah, it's so easy for me. Yeah. It's just, when you connect, and then, here we go. Yeah. If you don't like it, sorry, but I love it. So I'm going to do it anyway.
I was going to say, I love it. I think that there's a new twist on it. You've given it your new twist. And that's what I like to see, because I think Bonnie Massey can get out there and he can wail. He's a great guitar player. Fantastic. And you know, he can play any version out there and he can do it. But
so many strings on his guitar.
Yeah, but there's a very traditionalist way as he approaches it. You know, he's not big into effects or you know or any of the rest of it. Whereas you, I think you've still got it's. I guess the easiest way to say this: there's a little bit of a showmanship that's from the rock side that says, "Ooh, I like to do this," you know, and that's what I like to see, because I said to somebody a while back, I says, "Well, you have your traditional blues, which is, you know, you're very
look at your shoes."
You know, my girlfriend left me, and you know, without a house and a car, and I'm going to go and get drunk and all the rest of it. And I said, "Well, you know, you've got that traditional blues." I said, "Then you have the, you know, because all you did was add a shotgun and a pickup truck into it, and that turned into country." Exactly. And I said, well, I think what a lot of people forget is...
And a few more dead bodies.
And I said, you know, and then it all went, and I said, no, what people forget is that as the blues progressed, then you ended up with your R&B, and you know, and then eventually rock came out of it. I said, so there was also a happy side to the blues. That's where the boogie blues came from and all that side. And everybody always thinks the blues is such a depressing, you know, genre, and we're going to sit there. And I like
blues is just the opposite for me. Yeah, actually.
Blues isn't always, you know, boo hoo hoo, because there are some great boogie songs and all the rest of it that come out there. And to have you come in and say, well, kind of, you know, a lot of guys have been out there and done it over the years. I just think that you're a new face in the scene that could actually go, and here's and here's a new twist on it. Yeah, because like I said, I enjoyed it. I think that, you know, 200 or so plus people that were in there tonight enjoyed it as well. And
felt like it. Yeah, certainly.
There were a few. I mean, I walked by and people were bopping, and there's a couple of them were doing, you know, the side shuffle bit. I always like that bit, you know. The shoulder.
We're talking 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
with the party from yesterday.
Yeah, oh God,
in the mind.
I was going to say, I think I didn't actually go to bed until about 7 o'clock in the morning. So, Pontus, it's been an absolute pleasure. I am now going to follow you, even more than I did before, because that is definitely put another bow into your string, and I think, the world is ready for a new direction in the blues. Bonamessi, you've been great. You ain't got shit on this guy, so you're either going to copy him, or he's just going to have to give up. He'll probably end up copying you in the end and go, oh shit.
I'd love to meet him again, though.
Yeah.
It was a funny story when we supported him. It was like 5 or 6 years ago, the big place in Malmo. We played with my old band Snibb, with my dad, as I said. And you could, from the minute we came in, okay, we have sound check time, putting our stuff in front of his stuff, of course. You could hear someone playing upstairs, like in the dressing room, at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was Joe.
Yeah, he's always
playing guitar, and we had the room opposite to his.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock, he was still noodling his guitar. At 8 o'clock, he was still noodling his guitar. We were having a beer and talking and like chilling out, and at 8:30 he went on. After the show, before we went on, he was noodling his guitar again, one he brought up after the show. It was like,
the other way around. Does he ever stop?
I don't think so. No.
It's a bit OCD.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it's very traditional, but very technical the way he approaches it. And a lot of guitarists do that, but I like, when we go back to, because I like my power trios, and, that's what you've got on stage is basically a blues power trio. In the form of when Cream, before they totally morphed out of it, but, ZZ Top is a classic example. That range, there's 3 guys out there that are proficient on what they do, and there's no place to hide. And, and you guys don't. You actually embrace it and say, well, this is how we're going to do it, whether it's a soft touch or whether it's full blow.
With flaws and all, of course,
and Joe does it. Joe likes his showmanship. And I'm not knocking him, because I've seen him 4 times, and he's a brilliant showman. But I think
one of the big guys.
I was going to say, but there's a traditionalist but very raw approach to what you're doing, and I think it's a bit refreshing to see that, and I wish you all the best of luck with it.
Thank you so much.
Skål.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Skål.
Yeah, I'm learning Swedish as well.
Cheers.
There we go.